Hello, hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. This is Tiffany Para. We are taking center stage on the Own It platform today. And today, look, better late than never because this is our May featured spotlight. And she is such an amazing woman. I'm going to just go ahead and bring her on in so we can get to know her a little bit more. She's a very dear friend of mine, but I really, really got to get you guys to know her because she's going to help you all show up and show out. All right. So hold up. Let me bring her on in the room. What's going on, sis? How are you,
Woo!
Kimmisha? Oh, I'm so excited. I'm so excited to see you. I'm so excited to have you on the show. So excited to have you on the cover of our May 2023 Phoenix Fitness Fanatics magazine. It's absolutely gorgeous. So welcome, welcome, Kimmisha.
Well, thank you for having me, Tiffany. I really appreciate it, and I am very excited about this interview this morning.
Awesome, awesome. So Kamisha and I have spent some time together. We've done a few projects with each other, and she is also the printer of Phoenix Fitness Fanatics magazine. So when y'all get those really, really pretty, awesome magazines in hand, and they are glistening and they are just awesome, that is her work. So Kamisha, what inspired you to start your own business? I mean, being an entrepreneur, like, man, that's scary. So, like, what inspired you?
Well, if I go all the way back to the beginning, I was actually working in corporate America,
Mm,
and and I remember them hiring these high dollar consultants to come in and, you know, fix their problems. And these consultants would come in and they would give such a great speech about what they're going to do and blah, blah, blah. And then the problems that the company was experiencing weren't getting solved.
no.
And so when I see a company spending $500,000 on a consultant and not solve their problems, and they still have to file for bankruptcy protection in order to stay in business, I thought that was a problem.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money to raise for you to not to fix your problems. And in my opinion, and just analyzing, I'm like, well, this is your problem, that's your problem, but these are the things that the companies that were minor issues, but their minor issues were really their hot issues that they needed to address. These were large corporations with, you know, like four different departments, and each one of these departments were acting like their own entity. They
Mm-hmm.
weren't following the company values or what was set for the company. Everybody just kind of like did their own thing. No checks and balances, and so it caused a lot of problems. So, well, at the end of the day, it was in their communications.
Mm, yes.
And so, you know, just being the advocate of wanting to protect, I started off with business consulting, helping businesses put their infrastructure together, helping them to protect their assets, and having a management service. And just as I'm getting started, my mom passed away,
Oh,
and
wow.
then you know, we went to the mortuary to designer services. They brought me out all these templates. And I was like, wait a minute, none of these templates represent who my mom was or the
Mm-hmm.
impact that she has. And I do not want a template to define my mom's last memories. I do not want people to remember her by a template that looks like everybody else because
Mm-hmm.
my mom was not like everybody else. So I decided to design my own bereavement line and went back to work for the mortuary as a design specialist
Wow. And you know
because
what? I have to just chime in on that because it is so important, when you're laying that loved one to rest to have those right words. to express just who they were. And I mean, I love that you went into that. So yes, that's amazing. And was it hard though? I mean, because that's going to be very emotional too, having to deal directly with the family. So how did you deal with like just that emotional aspect of things?
Um, well, sometimes I didn't work directly with the family.
Mhm.
I would just get a piece of paper from the mortuary that had name, death, just very basic information. And then I would just create. I just follow my gut feeling and create something. And then the times that I did work with the family, I just sat down to really understand who this person was. And so I always try to design from the perspective of the person who passed away or to highlight the things that made them special. Because looking at the market, we are conditioned to accept templated designs, templated uh, process. Everything says there's nothing special about you or your business.
Mhm.
And so I wanted to break that mold because everybody is different. And even though you may be in the same industry, what may work for company A will not work for you. And so to just change a color and throw a logo on it and say, get out there and get it done, you're still saying, you're like, no, you're like everybody else. There's none of your personality coming through. There's just your values, your process, whatever, your characteristics that make you don't shine through
Yeah.
your graphics. So
Yeah.
I wanted to change that space.
So in this space, because again, like you're saying, there's a lot of different people out there doing the same thing. So what really makes you stand out amongst the rest?
Well, because I go a little bit deeper. I look at the big picture. So when I look at you or a client, I always look at them for tomorrow, not where they are today.
Mhm.
So my goal is to create something for longevity because no one wants to go into business to close their doors.
Right.
So if you look at the big picture, then it's easier to figure things out on so that they could create a legacy.
So, what's your favorite part about being an entrepreneur? Because I know we've got the ups and downs, the good, the bad, the ugly, all in between. So, what's your favorite part about it?
The look on my client's face when I nailed it, that joy. Sometimes it's tears, sometimes it's a little dance. That's what keeps me going.
Oh, I love that. I love that. And you know what? That's what keeps me going too. Just when your clients get those results and they have that happy face. And I know that when I got my magazines from you, for the first time, that it was like Christmas, opening up and it was like, whoa, and then just taking those pictures and posting them and everything. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna cut to a quick commercial break, and then we're gonna come back with Kimmisha Michels. And we are back, Phoenix Fitness Fanatics Magazine, with our May 2023 featured covered spotlight, Miss Kimmisha Michels with In Living Creative Agency. So Thank you so much. All right, Kimmisha. So it sounds like you really just love and adore what you do. So if you weren't doing this, what exactly would you be doing in life?
Traveling with my husband.
Okay, okay. Where would be where's would be the place, like what's that bucket list place for you that you want to go?
Italy, to where his parent or his mom came from.
Oh wow. Okay, okay. Ooh, that sounds fun. So put that on the bucket list and get there.
It is. It's the goal for next year.
Oh, that is awesome. Like I went to the DR with, to see our CEO of Own It. And I tell you, that was the first time I ever got a chance to go international. So I am now hooked and I want to go all over the world.
I know because I want to go to Japan.
Ooh, that would be a nice place too. Yeah,
Mhm.
that might have to go on my bucket list as well. So, Kamisha, so what just motivates you to just get up and get out of bed every day?
Oh man, to make an impact, change the way people think, feel, and move in their business. If I can save somebody time, frustration, and headache, that's what I want to do. Because when I started my business, there wasn't that kind of support. I got ripped off a lot.
Mm,
I because because I am a self-taught graphic designer.
yeah.
So when I started off, I had to hire people. And when I hired this company, I already, you know, I had it was hand illustrated what I wanted. And so when they did it, but they kept doing adding designs from previous clients and then wanted to charge me for that. And I'm like, that's not what I wanted. That's not what I gave you. I had it here. All you had to do was just basically vectorize it and we would have been good to go. And then just looking at their portfolio, that's all they did. It was a templated process. And when you charge me for artwork or like stock photo, but you're
Mhm.
using the exact same photos for every client and you're charging, I
Yeah.
had a problem with that.
Now you got
I
every
had
client looking the same.
Yes, I had a huge problem. And then, I go into Office Max or Office Depot and I hear people in line picking up their business cards or whatever. And the customer's standing there in disgust because they're like, I just paid for what? And this is just clip art. And just seeing that frustration of this is not what I want. How come I can't get what I want? How come I can't get something that represent who I am or my company? Why is it so hard? It's such a simple request. Who can I turn to?
God. It's very frustrating when you're out there trying. I'm not the graphic person at all, and it takes me forever to do it. So I think I would be very upset if someone was giving me templates, versus trying to create something that is authentic to me and has my flair to it. And I just love that you tap into that part of, the person to really be able to help them to authentically just, show up and show, some of their personality and, things like that as well. I think that's really awesome.
Because it helps, gives you confidence to want to get out there. If you are unsure about your look or yeah, just everything, you,
Yeah.
you're not going to get out there and try and conduct business. You're not going to want to hand out brochures. You're not going to want to hand out business cards because this is this is not the best representation of my company.
Right. Yeah.
And when
I,
you
I
know
want
that,
it flying out of my hand.
right. But when you got something that truly represents you, down to the design, the print, um, the special techniques. You are out there like, listen, here, take my card. This is what I do. You have such a confidence, and it attracts people. They want to talk to you because you're confident.
Yeah, yeah. Now, what do you think has been like the biggest challenge, in just being in this creative space?
Whew. Well, for me, saying that, um, because I did not have the confidence to put myself out there,
Mm,
I put myself in a box
okay.
of letting only, yeah, just, and knowing that I was missing something within my own brand. I couldn't go out there and preach if I couldn't practice what I was preaching.
Yeah.
And it wasn't really until the pandemic, because I was making excuses. Oh, I'm too busy. I never took the time out for myself and making sure that my own business was in place. Um, and I was, frustrated because a lot of times as creatives, sometimes we hire other creatives to help us because we don't have that perspective. Um, we overthink things, we make things too complicated. We get the deer in the headlight look like, blah, 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 blah. I don't know nothing. And so, in seeing that I couldn't get what I wanted for my own self, I just kind of like stayed in this little box because I didn't have that confidence to go out there. I knew we were good at what we did,
Hmm.
but I didn't know how to articulate it to my ideal client. And
Okay.
so when the pandemic happened, I was like, this is the perfect time for me to focus on me and to create that confidence and create the vision that I always saw, but just never took the time to do it.
So for an entrepreneur, an up and coming, someone that is in that situation where they're in that box, what is something that you can tell them on how they could just gain that confidence? What was something that you did to really just tap into the confidence so you could step out and soar, the way that you're doing?
When you truly know who you are, truly deep down, uh, you can create a brand identity that is full of confidence. And if you look at your top brands, they are deeply embedded in their beliefs. They know who they are, they have a strong identity.
Mhm.
Everything that they do is wrapped around that identity. Um, and they create a consistency. So you know what to expect from them.
Yeah.
You know what to say. You know your problems of your audience. You know what you're solving and bringing to the table for them.
Yeah. Yeah. So you recently got into the space of writing, and you became a best-selling author. So can you share a little bit about just your experience with, becoming an author and what that has done for you, personally as well as professionally? Because I know that can definitely help us, professionally as well.
Well, for this particular book, Becoming a Girl Powerhouse, what it did for me is it helped me close a chapter in my life that was having a profound effect on my my mental state.
Mhm.
Um, it Yeah, because when you are an entrepreneur, part of leveling up or going to next level, growing your business, mindset and self-esteem. And if you don't have those things, it's hard to do anything. So because I was in this kind of like fearful state because of being in a narcissistic relationship that completely stripped all of my self-esteem away. Um, I was in this constant state of destruction, um, self-sabotage. Anytime there was an opportunity, I would find ways to self-sabotage so I couldn't move forward. And so when I wrote my chapter, one, it just took me through this process where I could actually close that chapter. And when I turned in my chapter, there was a new self-confidence that I didn't have. And I was able to connect the dots of all the things that were missing. And now you can't tell me nothing.
Okay. Yes. That's right. I think
So
it is
it
so
is
liberating, right?
right, right. So now I am full of confidence in myself, my skill sets, and my knowledge. And I don't care who you are, because you cannot steal that. You cannot take that experience or my knowledge away from me.
Yes. That's what makes you you. That's who you are.
Right.
And you got to walk strong in that, sis.
And I have done things that I never thought I would do. In this last year, I have grown tremendously. And so now I just want to help others embrace that so that they can excel and achieve their goals that they have for themselves and for their business.
See, and I love that you wrote your story. I love that you freed yourself, because we do tend to have so many of those, mental mind, like just those breaks, right? Where they're it's just a block for us. And we're
Mhm,
trying to figure it out. And when we write it down and actually share our stories and share the things that we went through, the emotions, all those things, that tends to just really, again, free us because now we're able to let it go.
mhm.
And I know for, watching you go through the journey of, writing your story as well as, some of the other ladies, it was like I could see weight off of your shoulders,
Right.
and I've watched you through this year and I've watched you step out there. I'm just like, look at this. Okay.
Yeah,
Because
because
it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing what you've been doing out there and just rocking and rolling. And also some of those big contracts that you've been waiting on, that are now starting to, hit. And that's just awesome because you're bringing all that. That's the manifestation point of it. Now it's, I've changed my mindset. I'm thinking positively on this. I've got the courage that I can do anything. And now you're reaping the benefits of, as you said earlier, those seeds that you're sowing.
yeah, and I even offer my clients mentoring because some of them don't have support systems,
Mm.
and there are some who are constantly having to deal with negativity. Oh, I wouldn't do that if I was you. You're just gonna fail. Or, oh, why would you want to do that? No one in our family has done that before. Oh, you're just wasting your money. You just need to go and get you that corporate job or a
Right.
government job and just be happy with that.
Oh,
Why do you want to step out of the box?
because
Oh,
that's
you
where our
always
purpose is. That's where the
right.
right there. We got to get out of the box so we can make an impact.
Why do you want to be different? Yeah,
Because
so
you are different.
right, but a lot of times that stops us from pursuing what is embedded into us naturally.
Yeah.
And
We all have
so,
a blueprint, and our blueprint, it's already been made plain. There's a purpose that we all have, and there's a plan for us all. And you have to step outside of everybody else's box, you
right.
know, to go ahead and step into that power and purpose. So,
Yep. And sometimes that requires you putting blinders on, like a horse.
right. That's right.
You have to
Exactly.
stay total tunnel vision. And if you got to put some earplugs into to drown out the noise, that's what you got to do.
That's right.
And
That's
you got
right.
to find the right people. Um, yeah, it's just different. You can't be you can't be a Fortune 500 company or a billionaire company if you don't have the right mindset. You have to make different moves, different strategies. It's planning, it's patience. You just, can't wake up one day and be like, I'm going to be a billionaire and not have any,
No,
and not have a plan, not have it.
no plan.
You just,
I'm just going
oh,
like,
this is right, right, right. Uh, so,
it takes work for everything.
right. So I came up with the whole system uh, just to have businesses look at themselves differently.
I love the perspective. Now, so tell me, what is your favorite affirmation? Because we're talking about mindset shifts, right? And I know that, positive affirmations, positive quotes, different things like that, even songs will really help us to change that mindset. So we think more on that positive level. So, what would be one of your favorite affirmations or quotes that keep you motivated?
Mm. If there's a will, there's a way.
That's right. Yeah. That's one of my favorites too. Where there's a will, there is a way. Okay, most definitely.
And as Walt said, dream big, dream big. One of the things that always keeps me motivated when I am feeling down or like, oh, forget this, I don't want to do this anymore. I always think of the 7 Up man. The guy who originally formulated 7 Up got frustrated because he was missing an ingredient and he just gave it up. And a new person came in, figured out what was missing, and that's how 7 Up got its name. It was the seventh ingredient.
Oh
And
wow!
so all that research, all that time that the original guy put in, he didn't get the credit. It was the new person who got the credit for all his work. And I think about that and I'm like, I don't want to be that person.
Right.
I don't want to give up as I'm walking through the door.
Yeah. Yeah. It's almost, it reminds me of that cartoon that people post where it has the man that's, chipping away at the wall, right? He's digging, he's trying to get to the diamonds. The diamonds are right there. You got one that's moving there, the other one's coming in, and it's like right there.
Yeah, and I find inspiration stories like another inspirational story is how like on the Coors bottles it has that color changing ink as your um, as it's getting warmer.
Hmm.
So that company was based out of Colorado Springs, and they had been in around for about 14 years. They lost their investors. Um, there was only 3 people left in the company: the CEO, I think, vice president, and one salesperson. The CEO was afraid to even go to the office because he didn't know if they were going to be locked out or there was going to be any power in the building. They
Oh,
had to let go of all their researchers because the investors pulled out because they were saying, we don't see any progress, so we're not going to keep funding something that is never going to give us a return.
yeah.
They had 3 proposals out. Coors, General, the cereal people, General, and
Uh,
one other company. And oh yeah, and they were about to get evicted too. So, so, but they kept showing up every day. They would show up, and they were like, "Well, if the gates locked, I guess we can't get in." But so the 3 people that were left, they called out on those 3 proposals, and Coors accept their proposal and change everything for them. And so when I think about that, Listen, they didn't let anything stop them.
Right. And that's what it's all about. Not letting anything stop you. Don't let anything stand in your way. As our, we both have a friend in common, Michelle MUPO, as she says, don't think, just do it. Because when you think too much, you're gonna miss out on the opportunity.
Or you'll
Someone
talk
else
yourself
is
out
gonna
of it.
get it. Someone else is gonna get, like, I have to share this. It was my husband shared a story with me. He said, way back when, he was in school, he went to Catholic school, and there was one of the nuns that got in a car accident. And she had this, it was a big dent in her, in her fender or whatever. And he went and he put a Band-Aid on it. Well, years later, you see these Band-Aid stickers that people put on their cars that say ouch
Yeah,
when they have their
a boo-boo.
accidents. And this is something that he thought about years ago. And if I'm not mistaken, he said he did put ouch on it as well. And it was just so he wasn't even thinking about it. But we intuitively get downloads of information daily, and we just have to stop and listen so we don't miss out on the opportunities that God, the source, whatever you want to call it, the universe, what it's sending you.
It's true. Because when I started my bereavement line and I was approaching investors, they all were like, we love your concept, but it's morbid.
Mm,
I'm like, but people need this.
right.
People need this. And they were like, no, we will not fund you. Even though you have proof of concept, we just can't because it's in the death industry. And I had, I had these bereavement baskets that were given. One of the high profile funerals that I did was a young mom. She had 6 kids in the car, and the youngest one was killed. And she missed the funeral because she was in the hospital due to her injuries. So I went, personally shopped for this basket, and everything that was in that basket was from the perspective of the child that passed. So everything that child was known for, I put in that basket. And then I wrote a custom poem, and it was like, here's a pillow to lay your weary head on, some tissue to dry your dry eyes, some chocolate to melt away the sorrow, and a candle to light you through the darkest nights, and some bubble gum to chew on to chew away the guilt, and just some other things. But my stuff was very unique. And even to this day, I'm still trying to work on the bereavement thing, because bereavement to me is the most personal and devastating thing that a person will go through. And no one wants to have something that I want them to have something that they're gonna pull back out, not just throw it in a drawer and forget about it, because it feels like there's no value there. I want them to, be like, man, those were some of the best times in my life.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's really the way I think it's supposed to be when that happens, right? Absolutely. So what's some words of wisdom or encouragement that you can give to, maybe a creative out there that's thinking about being an entrepreneur, or just really anybody that's, on the fence about, jumping into this space?
Well, if you're going to be an entrepreneur, the best advice I have is decide on what kind of entrepreneur do you want to be. Are you going to be a hobbyist? Do you want to be a workaholic? Do you want to be a Fortune 500 company? Or do you want to be a billionaire? Because if you know what kind of company you want to be, you'll move differently. You'll spend your money in the right areas, and you'll get the right coach. And you'll take the time to plan. Without a plan, you're going to grow frustrated and stagnant.
Absolutely, absolutely. Look, you got to have a plan, y'all. Definitely got to have a plan. So, Kimmisha, is there anything else that you would like to share with our audience today about your business, about working with you? Any events coming up? Any specials?
Um, Not that I could think of, but if you work with me, I will definitely give you a different perspective on your business that you probably wouldn't have thought of. And I set you up for longevity, not just today.
Well, Kimmisha, this has been a wonderful interview. Thank you so much for joining me today and just chatting it up. I adore working with you. And everyone, if you are looking for someone for print, for someone to up level your brand and to really help you figure out how to navigate through your business as you are growing, definitely connect with Kimmisha. She is a brilliant brand strategist and just an awesome creative. So, everyone, thank you so much for joining us. Happy Friday. Happy Fitness Fabulous Friday. And we look forward to seeing you next time. Thank you so very much.
Happy Father's Day to all the fathers and even to the single ladies who have to do both jobs. So,
thank you for that, Kimmisha. I forgot it's Father's Day this week and it came up on us way too quick. So, yes, happy
yes,
Father's Day to all the dads out there and the single moms that had to do both.
right. Oh, one announcement. So, our new website is going to be launching here next week. So, if you go on it today, just know that it is about to change and it is completely different. And I'm so excited. I cannot wait until it launches.
Awesome, awesome. So everybody down here in the ticker, you're going to go to www.enliven.agency. Check Kimmisha and her team out. All right, everybody. Thank you so much. Happy Father's Day and happy Friday. Take care.
Bye.